Hey guys, welcome back. This is Alessandro. So today I want to talk to you about simplify your own animation. This is a mistake I keep seeing over and over. It happens from students, people who want to learn animation, even professional people, even when you're at work and you see other animator mistakes or things like that. I do also these mistakes as well, okay guys? And people always think about they overcomplicate their shots, okay? Because I feel, at least for me, when anytime I need to approach an animation, especially if I'm doing for my own demo reel, right? And I have a 10 second or 12 seconds shot, I end up being in this mentality where, you know what, this is gonna be a shot for my demo reel, or maybe even if you're working and you're planning, to do something you wanna put in your own portfolio, and you're gonna think about, oh my god, I have 10 seconds, okay, this shot is only 8-10 seconds, and I'm gonna put so much information about everything, I'm gonna make perfect facial expression, perfect acting, a lot of gesture on the hand, the finger, I'm gonna put a lot of secondary action, I wanna show contrast, I wanna show the character could be happy, sad, he could do body mechanics, but at the same time subtle acting, okay? Almost like you wanna do a showcase of everything, okay? You wanna show it as best as possible, but you're trying to do that in 10 seconds. And I can guarantee you guys that the result will be kind of messy, actually, because there are so many ideas, and the intention is good, right? You wanna show many things, but there is a good chance you're putting things, especially if you're doing acting, that it might not actually make sense with the acting performance. It happens to me at the very beginning where I want to showcase a little bit more intense body mechanics, that I was good, and maybe have the character, from sitting to standing up and doing something. But then after, when I end up splining the shot, I was actually polishing, maybe I took a break, because I was getting a little bit burnt out in polishing and spending so much time. And I go back after a week and I watch my animation. The animation looks good, okay? It was super polished, very smooth, a lot of details. But I look at it and I was like, damn, this acting, it make no sense with the voice, okay? So the actor was talking, the voice has a certain intonation that it was kind of flat and low, but my acting was so big, the character was moving so much, and it's like, that make no sense. And then at the end, I had to throw away that animation. I never show it because yes, even though the execution was flawless, it was very good. At the end, I fail as an animator because the acting make no sense with the dialogue. Ultimately, that's what it's all about, right? Because considering if you forget it for a moment, like your demo reel or anything, but if you're working for a movie, cinematics, for a game or something, right? The person on the other side who's just gonna watch and enjoy your animation, it's not gonna be an expert in animation, okay? It's not gonna care so much about the polishing or the details. He might feel it, the quality, right? But it's not gonna be, oh my god, the animation over there is so polished, the details, the acting. Their concern is mostly that things flow well with the storytelling, with the bigger picture of the sequence, right? And if your acting make no sense with that particular shot, you just fail. That's all. It doesn't matter how your animation look, right? So my suggestion, guys, is to make things very simple, okay? And the easiest part about this is that it's only about planning and pre-production. That's the part where you have to keep things simple, right? Because that's the moment where you're going to decide, okay, you know what, I have this shot, I have this dialogue, and I want to make sure that the character maybe just sit on the chair and maybe has a certain position and move his hands a little bit, or maybe, as I mentioned, he could stand up or something. When you plan those things, the first things you want to keep in mind is like, does this make sense with the shot that I'm about to do? Especially if you have dialogue, does this kind of match the intonation of the dialogue? Does this match with the personality of the character, right? Because you might do an amazing animation, but you're going completely off character, okay? Maybe you're doing like an animation where the character is moving a lot, but that's not his personality, okay? And unless there is a clear direction from someone else, your supervisor, your director, you're not just doing a good job. And so I would say this is the best part, because it's easy to fix, okay? That if you tackle these things very well during your planning process, during your pre-production, when you do sketch, video reference in front of the camera, it's easy to fix, right? Because going in front of the camera and doing the acting, yes, you need to study a little bit more the performance before you jump in front of the camera. But even, you know, this whole process with the acting itself is a lot easier than spending 3 weeks to do your own animation, right? I mean, sometimes like I spend one entire day to think about what acting I want to do, or even if it's like a body mechanics or something, I might spend like a few days just planning, okay? And even though it's better that you realize, you know what, I made a mistake, let me start all over again, and you lose a couple of days, okay? It's much better this solution rather than you move forward, you do blocking plus polishing, and then you, after 3-4 weeks, you realize, damn, you know, my foundation, my planning was completely wrong, and now I have to redo entirely everything, okay? That's a huge, bigger problem. And I'm telling you guys that it's these things happen even when I'm at work, you know, when people working, you know, under me and everything, or I work for other people. These things can happen, you know, you get so obsessed about the details that you want to put, the skill that you want to showcase in your animation, that you forget about the bigger picture. And actually, this is something I would say I'm grateful about my job, because when I work as a supervisor, as a lead, you started to be less focused on the details, but you look more at the big picture of a story, you know, if you're doing cinematic, feature for games. And this doesn't mean you don't want to put quality, okay? That's not what I'm talking about, but you can do that later. But you have a wider vision when now you think about the bigger picture of a sequence, and you can spot very easily when an animator is doing a mistake, because as I said, maybe you try to put too many inputs, and then because maybe, you know, the problem is like that animator might be focused only on one shot, but you as a lead supervisor, you look at the whole sequence, right? So then you look things all together with every other animator shots, and you feel like, you know what, these shots makes no sense because it's so overacted with the rest of the sequence, you know, it just doesn't match. And when you get into this mood, then you start to realize, oh, then I have done the same mistake many years ago. Or now I remember when my supervisor a few years ago told me exactly the same things. Now I get it. And, you know, I wanted to share this with you guys, because at the end, when you do animation, it's not just about polishing things, you know, making your body mechanics great, showcasing your poses and everything. You know, you have to make sense with the acting, okay? You might come up with a great idea, with a great pose that looks amazing. You go very snappy from one pose like this to another one, but it doesn't make sense with the acting, right? And it's you cannot just do it just because it looks good, just because you're so attached to the particular pose that you kind of fall in love, right? And you wanna do it. Actually, that's the worst part. So yeah, guys. And then another things is like, even though you get the right acting, the right attitude, try to not put too many things. Like I realize very often, and again, I did the same mistake during acting. Every 2 seconds, the character change pose. Like, hey, how are you? How are you doing? And it's moving like this very, very quickly. And even though it can be super fun to animate, it can be very distracting to watch. First of all, again, it might not match the audio. But then, like, the audience seeing this character popping and moving all the time, they might feel like, what the hell is going on here? Like, can you stop and hold it for a second? And I remember at the very beginning, one of the reasons why I was doing this is because exactly I was afraid to hold the pose for too long, okay? I felt like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, hit a pose or something, and then there is the dialogue, I'm gonna just stay in that pose and just having the mouth moving and everything. And I feel like, you know, it's kind of boring. I'm not really showcasing anything in my skill. And it's actually a terrible and wrong attitude, because even though you're having like a simple pose, like the character could stand and just think and talk, there is a lot going on in the face. And I'm telling you guys, making facial expression with dialogue, or even worse, like character just thinking, is a lot more challenging than a character moving constantly left to right. So it's very difficult. So if you're able to pull it off properly in a believable way, guys, kudos to you, because it means you're really skillful as animator, okay? It's actually, at some point I started to enjoy the idea to do subtleties, you know, like having a character holding a pose and maybe, you know, having some secondary action on the eyebrows, compressing the mouth, having a small smile, because even those things in terms of acting can sell a lot, can do a lot more, rather than you moving the character all the time. Okay, guys, so keep it simple. Simple can be easier to do somehow, but it's not as easy as you guys think like, okay? And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any comment, question, let me know. I'll read it and let you know, okay? See you next time. Ciao, guys.